Hello friends, welcome to my channel Literary Discussion, and today we are going to discuss one of the very famous poem, A Mirror, by a well-known author Sylvia Plath in American poetry. And today the presentation is going to have four objectives. First one, introducing the author; the second one, the theme of the poem; and the third one, rhyme scheme which is used in this poem; and fourth one, conclusion. And introducing the author. One of the most celebrated figure in American poetry, Sylvia Plath, is known the poet, novelist, and short story writer. Yes, she is a versatile writer in American poetry, and she was one of the pioneer in the genre of self-exploration and self-discovery. There is a genre in poetry. Many women writers, especially I think so, many women writers, they have explored themselves, and for that they have named it a confessional poetry. Confessional poetry. So she is one of the pioneers of that particular genre. Confession means, telling something very openly and whatever we knew without hiding anything. So confessional poets, what they do, and they just discuss everything openly without hiding. We have the greatest poet in our own Indian writing in English, and many poets. Kamala Das, she is one of the very famous and well-known poet in confessional poetry. And the setting and theme of the poem. The theme of the poem is that of truth and its effects. Truth always has its own effect, and nowadays the people, they like lie, they don't like truth. So maybe this poem, the theme of the poem is that of truth and its own effects. It explores how sometimes truth can cause agony. Yes, and most of the times truth causes bitterness in the beginning, but at the end it gives you more than you expect. And so, summary of the poem. The poem is divided into two stanzas, with the first one establishing the nature of the mirror as truthful, honest, and impartial. Yes, and in the first stanza, when we discuss, you come to know how far it is truthful, honest, and impartial. So in the same stanza, the mirror tells about itself, and because in this poem, mirror is the first person, and mirror is the speaker of the poem. So it discusses, or it tells about itself and describes its experiences, what it has seen and what it does most of the time. So the second stanza of the poem looks at a woman through the eyes of a mirror as a lake, and describes her life and how she is slowly growing towards an old age. So the central idea of the poem lies not so much in the words of the poem as in what they represent. And most of the times, and words, we could get the plain meaning, but the inner depth meaning is there. And so come to the first stanza, and the beginning of the poem, the first line itself, and I am silver and exact, I have no preconception. No, here the mirror is telling concretely, I am silver and exact. I have no preconception, I have no pre-idea about anything or anybody or anything. And whatever I see, I swallow immediately. Now, whatever appears before me, I swallow it immediately and reflect it truthfully. And just as it is. I never exaggerate, or I never degrade anything. And so, just as it is, and unmisted by love or dislike. I don't have any favor or in favor. No, nothing. And I don't. That's what unmisted, unaffected by love or dislike, hate. I'm not cruel. No, behaving like this. What? behaving truly, what correctly, concretely. Don't think that I am a cruel. I am not cruel, only truthful. The eye of a little God, four cornered. And so that's why people are saying, and I am an eye of a little God, four cornered, because God has no partiality towards any object which is present in this earth, upon this earth, and maybe what do you call human or whatever it may be. So likewise, so the mirror is presented in the first stanza as a shiny silver, exact and non-judgmental. The mirror is not driven by likes or dislikes, but it is bluntly truthful, obviously. And it calls itself the eye of a little God. This is because the mirror is impartial, like a deity. Deity means, God, and the small gods, we may say. And moreover, it shows people their true selves, like a God who assists us. God is assisting us. God is, leading us, and at all the time. I believe so. I believe in God, and because of God Almighty, everything is happening in this earth. So likewise here, and the God helps us, helps the people, and to know their own self. And so again, the first stanza continues like this. And most of the time I meditate on the opposite wall. It is pink with speckles. I have looked at it so long, I think it's a part of my heart. But it flickers. Faces and darkness separate us over and over. Most of the, what we do when we buy a mirror, we fixed it at one particular place. So maybe in this poem, and the mirror is fixed on the one wall, and opposite to that there is a wall. It is painted, and especially in the color of pink. That's why here, and what most of the time I meditate on the opposite. We will not go to the mirror all the time, 24 hours. No, we may be busy with mirror in the morning times and in the evening times. But in between, we never go to the mirror. So that's why, and most of the time, I meditate on the opposite wall. It is pink with speckles. I have looked at it for a so long time. I think it's my part of my heart. That's because I lie on that for very long, it becomes one of my part, and it is my heart. It flickers. What is flickers? And faces and darkness separate us over and over. When we go and stand before the mirror, and we separate the opposite wall and the mirror. And during the night time, it cannot reflect anything, or cannot reflect the opposite wall. So the darkness and faces, it separates us over and over. So it keeps looking at the opposite wall, which is pink and has spots on it. The mirror also says that wall has become a part of its heart, and that it doesn't like being separated from it. And on one hand, the mirror is shown almost emotionless, governed only by truth. But on the other hand, it is also shown to have a heart, despite being unmisted by love or dislike. As stated in the earlier lines, it shows a shred of affection. So the second stanza. Now I am a lake, a woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. Then she turns to those liars, the candles or the moon. I see her back and reflect it faithfully. Now I am a lake, woman, and when she gets older, when she gets old and old, and she stops go and visit or go and see the mirror quite often, and she thinks that she is getting old. She hates mirror. She doesn't want to go and stand before the mirror because it reflected truthfully, and no one, especially women, they don't accept that they are being aged. And so here also it goes. Woman goes to a lake, and the lake is also reflecting truthfully. So what? That's why here, now I am a lake, and the speaker become, now I am a lake. A woman bends over me, searching my reaches for what she really is. I reflect it truthfully, and she is not ready to accept. Then she turns to those liars. So she doesn't believe in me. So she turns to those liars. Who are the liars? the moon and the candle. No, when everything seems to be beautiful in the light of the moon, at the same time, everything seems to be beautiful in the light at the light of the candle light, and even every object looks so beautiful. So next we see the lake as mirror. The woman is shown looking at her reflection in the lake, finding it disagreeable. She turns away in sadness. The lake, being a kind of mirror, is truthful as well, and it shows the woman exactly as she is, which is disagreeable to her, because I already told you, and especially women, they will not accept they are being aged. And this blunt honesty of a lake mirror and her own unpleasant state is a reason for her sadness. That is why she turns to those liars. Who are the liars? The candle and moon, and those liars, and they reflect her as a beautiful woman. And then she rewards me with tears and agitation of hands. No, now she comes to me and she rewards me. When she was a child, she rewards me with smile, happiness over the face, and but now she rewards me with the tears and agitation of hands, and I am important to her because she comes and goes. Nobody. No, mirror is important in home, at least. And so I am important to her. She cannot reject me completely, and she comes and goes. Each morning it is her face that replaces the darkness, every morning, and when her face only replaces the darkness. In me she has drowned a young girl, and from the childhood onwards she drowned me an young girl, and in me an old woman rises towards her day after day, and like a terrible face. When she was young, I looked like a very good friend to her, but when she is getting older and older, I may look like a terrible fish to her. So the woman is becoming old. Now she used to be young and beautiful once. She mourns the loss of her youth and beauty every time she sees her reflection in the lake. Thus, the idea of the truth causing agony is explored in the poem, and it's the central idea or the theme of the poem. And the rhyme scheme, and it is a poem which is written in a free verse. You know what is free verse? It has no rhyme scheme. It is further unbound by any of the formal meter or rhythm. And the conclusion, the poem can be said to be a comment on the struggle of aging. And old age is inescapable. We cannot escape. But the idea of aging is not received well by everyone. No, age, growing old is a kind of beauty. We have to accept the nature. And instead of accepting, and we used to feel bad. No. That aging, the idea of aging must be received well by everyone. So the poet has represented the same sentiment. The woman looks at old age as a corruption or degradation of herself from what she used to be. And Plath was herself riddled with such ideas. That is why Plath is not a normal woman, and she committed suicide, and that is a different story. So Plath was herself riddled with such ideas. And this is the conclusion of the poem. And thank you so much for watching me, and keep watching my channel, and do subscribe and click the bell button for the upcoming videos. Thank you so much.